What's up, guys? What's going on, man? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's daily devotional, and we are going through the book of John. We're in John chapter 7, 10 through 13. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead, stop the tape, read it, see what it has to say, come back, and we'll answer the 4 questions. If you already read it, then, man, let's just jump in, man. Let's just get right into what's going on. So what's happening in John chapter 7 through 10? Well, we just got done talking about Jesus' brothers, kind of ridiculing, making fun of him, and telling him to go up to Jerusalem. And Jesus told him, "Hey, man, I'm not going right now. It's not my time. You go up there. You can do it." And then he talks a little bit about how the world hates Jesus because he exposes them to their deeds. And now we're going to see what the crowds kind of think about him, because Jesus actually does end up going up to Jerusalem. Now, he goes up in a way that is different than how his brothers had told him to go, because they said go in boldness is actually the word, but I think it might be translated as in public. You know, no one does in secret when they desire to be in public. But boldness is actually the word here. And Jesus goes up here and he doesn't really, it says he goes in secret, that he doesn't reveal himself. He goes in secret up to Jerusalem, man. But while he's up there, everybody got their opinions about him. So we got the Jews who was like, where's this dude at? Because they looking for him to kill him. So the ruling elite is talking about trying to arrest him, to seize him, man. But then we've got the crowds who are murmuring amongst themselves, and they're asking the question. Some are saying he's good, which could be a allusion to the fact that he comes from God, you know, or it just could be that he's a good man. But they see him as something that is to benefit them. And others say that he's leading others astray, causing people to stumbling, being a stumbling block to the crowd. But all of these things that they're saying, everybody's keeping it on the down low, a hush hush, because of the ruling elite. They're afraid of him, man. I think later on we're going to see that some are feared because they can be cast out of the temple. And the temple is an important part of the life of a Jew. Matter of fact, that's why they're all in Jerusalem right now, because of the festival, which I don't know if I mentioned but it says it's the Festival of Tabernacles. And subsequently, we're going to read and continue to read who Jesus reveals himself to be as part of the tabernacles, as part of the Feast of the Tabernacles. So I forgot to mention that, I believe. I can't remember, but I don't think I mentioned that. But it needs to be said that here in the next couple of episodes, we're going to talk heavily about an allusion between Jesus and then that feast. But yeah, the temple is part and parcel, and they said that they would kick them out. And so that's a big deal. So they're keeping us on the hush hush about Jesus. Jesus is making waves. Everywhere Jesus goes, he makes waves, man. It doesn't matter, past, future, or present, man. As the second person of the Trinity, the Old Testament, he making waves because he creating things. Through him, things have been created. And now, in the scriptures during his time walking physically on this earth, he making waves, and he's still making waves now. Mention the name of Jesus, see what happens, man. He making waves. So, what does this say about God? Well, it says that God moves in his own timing. He has his own ways, his own thoughts, and he's best to understand those things because he knows everything, obviously, because he's God. And then he has wisdom to carry out the best way to purpose things because he's God. And so even though he said earlier, which we might look like, and these are one of the warrants that come up, is that he contradicted himself and saying it wasn't going up. But it's not true, because in the fact, there's a couple of things that you could say about it. Is first off, he's not going up in the way in which they wanted him to go up. So in that sense, it's like if they told him to go up in boldness, and he's not going up in boldness. He's going in secret. So he's not going the way they asked him to go. And that's what he meant when he says he wasn't going there. But I think that's probably not the best way to think about it. I think the best way to think about it is that it wasn't his time, because that's exactly what he said. But when his time came to go up to the feast, He went because Jesus does everything in the proper timing. Matter of fact, he does everything in what the Father desires him to do. And so he moves in his own time. Well, what does this say about mankind, human beings? We have to make a decision. It's either Jesus is good or he's not. He's either telling the truth about who he is or he's leading people astray. And so we've got to come to an understanding of which one it is. And then whenever we find out which one it is, then either A, Jesus is wrong because he's leading people astray, so don't believe in him. Or the second is if we don't submit and commit our lives to him because Jesus is who he says he is, well, then we are in open rebellion. So we've got to make a decision about these things. And as we've been reading, as I've been saying, I hope you guys trust in Jesus more and we're being revealed the truth about who Jesus is from the scriptures. I hope you go to the latter, where you believe what he's saying is true because he is good, but then follow through on it. So that's the application, man. How do we apply these truths to our lives was where do we stand? We've got to make that decision. And so as where do we stand contends, first off, if you don't know him at all, get to know him and come see Jesus. Go through these chapters with me in John and get to know the person of Jesus because he's infinitely wonderful and worthy of trust, that you can commit your life to him because he is going to take care of it in a powerful and a wonderful way. It'll be forever changed. We talk about life in his name. We talk about how the light comes into our life and swells up as living water, that we have been given the Spirit if we commit to him. We have purpose and hope, a foundation in which we can trust and know that we're going to be okay now and in the end, in the future, after death. And if you haven't made the decision, man, continue with me to read and study. Go back and look at some other things as we talked about Jesus and just get to know him because he's infinitely worthy of trust. But if you already have trusted him for salvation, then now it's time to say, where do you stand truly? Because if you're not trusting him with every aspect of your life, if you're not trusting him with the little things to the greatest things, then, man, you got to get on it, because if you say he's worthy, if he's king, he should be king of all things. So where do you stand with Jesus? I appreciate you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.